Coming up.
I love making music. I'm probably going to be doing it forever.
On stage, this Aussie superstar has the world at his feet.
I feel like a superhero.
So when he's not performing, why does the Kid Laroi
Definitely the craziest thing I think I've ever done, and the most nervous.
carry the weight of it on his shoulders?
And to be a little anxious.
Just like the rest of us.
I guess so, yeah. Surprise.
That's next on 60 Minutes. If cramming a lot of life into a very short time was a competition, you'd be smart to put money on the Kid Laroi to win easily. At 21, he's already achieved so much. Worldwide adulation as a singer and rapper, as well as all the lavish trappings that success brings. But remarkably, this young Australian's greatest accomplishment is something else entirely. For the Kid Laroi, it's having the strength to believe in his talent and knowing he could drag himself out of a down-and-out existence in Sydney to pursue a dream most people thought was impossible.
How are you?
Meeting a music megastar, you'd typically expect some A-lister attitude.
Yeah, right, okay.
Especially with a stage name like the Kid Laroi.
Yeah.
But what we got was a very polite but rather shy and anxious young man.
I think, yeah, for today, for example, I've been stressing out I'm stressing out right now.
But you're the Kid Laroi. You play in front of tens of thousands of people all the time. You pack out venues. Why are you so nervous?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I guess it's just a noble thing, right? I mean, even just sitting down in front of a camera, I'm like the most uncomfortable person ever. It's just naturally how I am. I think it's just...
It's a fascinating contrast. As a legion of fans chant his name, believe it or not, this is the same person.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
The Kid Laroi can put on a show, but chatting to the 21-year-old, who, to his family, will always be Charlton Howard, barely even feels like a brush with fame.
I'm not sure. I tend to go into a character a little bit, I think, when I'm on stage. I get really confident and I'm able to transform into this whole other human being. I feel like a superhero sometimes. But I definitely think me as a person is I tend to be a little more reserved, a little more anxious, you know?
Charlton might be a bit in his shell, but the Kid Laroi is a big deal. Collaborating with the likes of Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, he's achieved global #1 hits, a Grammy nomination, Billboard Awards, and become the youngest artist ever to top the ARIA charts. He sells out concerts all around the world. And on stage adopts some suitable swagger.
I'm gonna come down there with you guys for a second.
But don't be fooled, there's not much ego here.
Can I say, and this is absolutely a compliment,
Okay.
you're not anything like I expected. Do you get that a bit?
I actually do. Really randomly, I do get that. Some people have told me I look like a dickhead from my Instagram.
It's humility that's rare for someone so famous, but befitting of the Kid Laroi's humble journey.
Hi, today I'll be doing a little freestyle rap for you guys. My future, yeah, I got a bright future. And if you take me
There's a reason he took to the stage so incredibly young. His is a story of hardship as much as it is triumph.
Oh, and, don't forget, I got new music coming out.
Growing up in Sydney, he, his mum Sloane and younger brother Austin lived for a time in housing commission after his parents' marriage broke down. Facing eviction, sometimes sleeping on couches, Sloane remembers the tough times surrounded by crime, drug use and poverty.
Life was pretty good. Then we divorced and everything spun around. And I don't think anybody prepares for something like that. So Charlton took a very adult role from a very young age.
Charlton's musical gift quickly became their only ticket back to a better life. They moved frequently, Sydney to Broken Hill and a short stint in Adelaide, as they hustled to get the Kid Laroi performing and noticed.
It was very difficult. It was very, very difficult. However, for me and for him, there was no other option. That was what we were doing. That's what we'd made our mind up to do. And that's where we were going. And here we are.
The Kid Laroi was just 15 when he dropped out of school at year 9 to accept a US record deal. He brought his whole family with him to LA, a far cry from their Australian roots. That's a heavy weight on the shoulders, isn't it, at 15 to be supporting your family? Heavy weight at 21 too, right?
Yeah, 100%. But I love it. I love doing it. But yeah, the pressure, of course, it's definitely a humongous pressure. No doubt about that.
Does it become too much sometimes?
Yeah, of course. Of course it does.
I bet.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a beautiful pressure. You know what I mean? It's ultimately, it's a great thing. You know, I get the opportunity to support people I love, and so I'll take all the stress and pressure that comes with that if I'm able to keep doing that.
It's unusual for someone so young to be so reflective.
Promise the world and deliver me an atlas. But I guess
It pays to understand how difficult the Kid Laroi's early teenage years were. At just 12, his uncle was murdered.
growing up, I used to want to be my Uncle Wayne. Until I saw his body laying in a grave.
And cruelly, even as things were looking up in LA, grief didn't end with a more privileged lifestyle. At 16, Laroi's famous mentor, rapper Juice WRLD, died of a drug overdose. Then, less than a year later, his childhood friend was killed train surfing. It's hard to fathom how a kid handled it.
I think just losing things in general, I think, is a extremely big fear of mine. Yeah, particularly losing people I love. It's not fun at all. Yeah. Yeah.
So you still think about that stuff and carry it with you?
It's hard not to think about, right? Yeah, it's tough, but I like to think I have people that are watching over me. I like to think those people are protecting me.
And it's not lost on his mum Sloane that the Kid Laroi never really got to be a kid.
You give up a lot. So there's a happiness and a sadness for my son. Happiness, he has all this success. Sadness, you can't go back in time and get back what you've missed, I guess.
It's the Kid Laroi's love of music, though, that's carried him through. And even if you don't know his name, chances are you've heard his hits.
Girls just wanna dance. Girls just wanna have fun. I don't know your plans.
And this year, he brought that star power back to Australia for his most challenging stage yet, where those nerves kicked in.
I just wanna kiss some. Girls wanna summer with their friends, wanna do it to their ex and get
They couldn't have been greater when we joined the Kid Laroi at rehearsals for his performance at the NRL Grand Final. It might seem like just a day in the office these days, but deep down, he's still that boy from League Mad Sydney.
I think for me, this is like definitely the craziest, and I'm not saying that just because we're like here on 60 Minutes, but I'm serious. This is definitely the craziest thing I think I've ever done, and the most nervous I think I've ever been for anything in like a really long time, at least. I feel, you know, the extra pressure to just make everything perfect. You know what I mean? I want everything to be perfect. I want it to be great, and you know, yeah.
I'm sure it will be.
I hope so. I hope so.
But, as you'll see, while the Kid Laroi is used to playing big arenas, this one, full of 80,000 footy fans, is like nothing he's done before. It's Aussie music superstar, the Kid Laroi's big moment back home.
Here he is.
opening the NRL Grand Final. And backstage, he's a ball of nerves.
Really? I'm excited. I'm super excited. Super duper excited.
Talk about a test of the kid's anxiety. He's not walking out to a stadium of his screaming fans. Instead, it's 80,000 footy spectators not really here for him. But it's where we see the transformation up close, from shy Charlton Howard to the charismatic Kid Laroi, on stage and in his element. Being home has been a welcome grounding from the sometimes scary heights of global stardom.
I feel like I live in like a world sometimes in Los Angeles that only exists in Los Angeles, and being able to come back home and just remember what that feels like is a really fulfilling thing.
It's a tale as old as showbiz, the mental toll on its baby-faced stars. And that's why the Kid Laroi is also trying out a very different stage. We joined him as he flew back on a day trip from LA just for this, a keynote address at Sydney's South by Southwest Festival for Emerging Artists.
Today's not about coming to you guys and telling you guys like, hey, this is the keys to success. This is what you need to be successful, because none of us actually know that, and that doesn't actually exist. We're just here to kind of share our experiences with you guys. And
he's determined to share with them the dangers of money and fame at such a young age. After all, he's had the perfect person doing the same for him.
Maybe a lot of people don't understand how much of a good leader and a mentor he is, but Justin Bieber, he's probably the first person that I go and speak to. So a lot of this stuff you guys are going to hear today.
Bieber is the Kid Laroi's idol turned hit collaborator. And now friend.
You want to show me around your new...
Mum, Sloane Howard, knows the Canadian superstar has been much more than just a musical influence on her boy.
Justin has been an incredible support and guidance. He's nurtured Charlton. I can only say incredible things.
Believe everything you're saying, like, it helps so much. Like, just sing it and, like, really think about what you're saying. I'm sure you do that.
Bieber's problems as a child star are well documented. While Kid Laroi hasn't shared the extreme headlines, he does share the struggles of being a kid in the spotlight. It's why he's founded the Laroi Foundation to fuel the conversation about mental health.
I just want, if anything, people to understand that I'm not going to get everything right. I'm going to try my best, right? And maybe that is part of being a role model. Maybe we're going to redefine what that means to be a role model.
Yeah, sure, it's okay to be imperfect.
Yeah, and I think that's the ultimate thing, right? There is no such thing as perfection. I feel like sometimes we all, including myself, including probably you, we all walk around and we hold people to a certain standard that we don't really even hold ourselves to.
You're wonderfully open with what's going on in your head. Why are you so honest about those things?
Whenever I hear other people talking about how they feel and normalizing their feelings and normalizing vulnerability, it tends to help me a lot. Oftentimes, everyone's feeling the same or similar things, and we're just not talking about it because we're embarrassed. But I think, the more we kind of normalize just having those conversations and being more open to them, it just becomes more normal, it becomes more human, right?
The Kid Laroi has come a long way at just 21. At home with his mum, Sloane, and younger brother, Austin, a budding music producer himself, they're much like any other young siblings.
You went before me. Okay.
We just try to keep everything normal. Family dinners. I mean, when he comes home, he's Charlton. Brother and he still get up, have punch-ups at the dining table.
It's just a much bigger dining table than you used to.
Yeah, probably.
What are you most proud of when you think of your two boys?
That they're young gentlemen. They're polite. They're courteous. They're respectful. And that's really all I could wish for.
Well, that's lovely. You're not there as mum thinking, I'm so proud because they've found success. It's that they're just good young men.
Absolutely, because success can come and go. You know, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So if they're good people and they're good young men, then they're going to be okay in life.
It's that family perspective that has the Kid Laroi dreaming and singing about what comes next.
And yes, I fell in love again. I thought that shit was impossible. And I promise it's too real for me to care what they think.
I want to have family one day. That's a huge dream of mine. I want to have a family.
The young man hopes he's found young love. He's now one half of a new power couple with Canadian singer Tate McRae.
She's awesome. It's really cool to be able to share, you know, similar experiences with somebody. I think the work that we do is like really, it's not common.
No.
You know, so it's cool to be able to, you know, there's certain things that I feel like maybe only she can understand, right? That I think is like a really cool thing. I feel very safe and understood with her, and she's just super awesome, super wise too.
It's support he'll be armed with this week as he once again returns home for the Australia leg of his The First Time tour.
Let's go! 1, 2.
And while we've now met the shy, honest Charlton Howard, fans will still get the Kid Laroi.
What can people expect from the First Time tour?
Oh, the best tour yet. 100%.
Big call.
Yeah. Oh no. If anyone came to the last one and they liked it, this one's way better. I can confidently say that. 100%. Way better.
We'll hold you to that.
Absolutely. Please do.
Hello, I'm Adam Hegarty. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.